You are now listening to For All Nerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. For All Nerds is hosted by DJ Benhameen and Tatiana King Jones. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.
Welcome to the Fan Bros, the show where the bros are fans. Doodle.
And what's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Benhameen, and welcome to a very special edition of the For All Nerds Show, the voice of the urban geek, the podcast where we discuss geek culture from the perspective of people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, this is a very special edition of the For All Nerd Show, and we'll get to why. But as you'll hear from my AKAs, you just might understand. Oh wait, no, I just effed them up right there. I had them already. But yeah, here we go. It's your boy DJ Benhameen, aka Slade Trilson, aka Big Dick Grayson Energy, aka Dr. Hugo Stranger Things, aka Edward Nigma Please, aka Cal L. Bundy, aka Halal Jordan here on the spaceship tonight. And I'm joined by my co-host.
One of them is Tatiana King, a.k.a. Ned Slanders, a.k.a. Flex Luthor, a.k.a. Queen of the Amazon's Prime subscription. And we are joined by a special guest here who also had a great time at this advanced screening with us to Black Adam. We have Porshia. Welcome back.
Hey everyone, thanks again to y'all for letting me get in, slip in. And also 25 other people, right, got to go to this event. All
Allegedly.
thanks to For All so.
Allegedly. Thank you to everyone who tried your best to get in. Thank you to those who made it. We saw the tweets, we saw the IG posts and the tags. Keep tagging us if you haven't done it already. Love to see it. Apologies to everyone who could not make it in. We had no idea it would be that wild.
Out of control. But yes, like we said, we are here. Porshia is one of our co-hosts on Castle Black, if you didn't know. The podcast that discusses House of Dragons, the blackest House of Dragons podcast in all of the realms. So, we have her here. And of course, we got the For All Nerds team. You might know us from Views from the 616, where we talk Marvel. But for once in a long time, we have a reason to celebrate a DC movie. And we are here to celebrate and talk about Black Adam, the new joint from The Rock. Let me see you throw your diamonds in the sky.
Rocket.
Everybody's throwing rocks in the sky in this movie.
Oh my God. I mean, that was like the one thing I didn't know. Like,
well, everyone was throwing up really the Delta sign.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, the Deltas are probably looking at them sideways. Like,
everybody is going to be looking at them sideways after the movie. The
Black
Rock,
people
Deltas.
are like, do you know what this means? But,
And I'm like, Aldous had to know, at the very least. Aldous had to know.
He gonna say something and fuck up that bag?
No, obviously not. Was it an inside job though? Is it an inside joke between The Rock and The Rock? You know what I mean? Is it like, was he like, we gonna have him throw up The Rock because it's The Rock?
Or because the whole wrestling thing, Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page actually tried to sue Jay-Z and Rockefeller for
He damn sure did.
So WWE wrestling, it's all connected.
There's a lot, there's a lot of history, and I mean that was one of the things in this film that a lot of people throw up the sign. But back to Black Adam, this is going to be a semi-spoiler review. We're going to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. We know that most of y'all have not seen this joint just yet. One semi-spoiler is that it's not much to spoil because the story is kind of sparse. But at the same time,
as a non-DC person, it was like, I was completely surprised by everything. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Okay. Yeah.
Were you enjoying it? Is the question.
It was
okay.
Wait. All right. Before we answer that question, let me continue. Let me continue and say that it's, that we will not be spoiler too much. But like I said, there's not much. And I personally, overall, definitely enjoyed this. Let's do that. Let's say, what are your overall thoughts like I say, if we're ranking the DC movies, this is up there with
Mhm.
the Shazams and the first Wonder Woman, the first, especially
Mhm.
only the first. Um,
Make that distinction.
I even really enjoyed Man of Steel at the time, and still enjoy it for the
I
most
still
part. Yeah, I still have a soft
soft
spot for
spot.
most of Man of Steel. You know,
Okay.
I have notes on Man of Steel, but overall,
You always
I
have
enjoyed it.
notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a general disdain for the DCEU for years now. Particularly because it's always like, I'm a planner, I'm an organizer. And when you go, you clearly go at this huge, massive series of properties with no plan. And it's all disparate actors and stories and things that don't even match up between the TV and the film and this and that. I get it, y'all doing things differently, but they definitely don't look right. All right. All that shit has particularly went left most of the time for me. However, there have been some standouts. Benhameen mentioned Shazam. Shazam was typically my number one DC movie when it came
I,
to
I
when it
forgot Suicide Squad too.
Suicide Squad. I like Suicide Squad, but my number one was always had, at least to this point, had been Shazam, because
Okay.
I just felt like it was the most cohesive DC film in terms of tone, in terms of what the story it was trying to say, in terms of being able to connect to the other movies, something that had been lacking in a lot of movies up until, again, maybe Suicide Squad. I just felt like it was like everyone, and it's true, everyone who came in to write or direct, they had their own ideas of what they wanted the heroes to look like, but it's like, but is there a whole general thought about where you want to go with this together? There was never a sense of togetherness. And I want to be clear, I'm not trying to make this the Marvel, the MCU. I'm not saying it has to even look like the MCU. I'm just saying have a plan, and it just look like you're trying. And a lot of times it didn't feel that way.
It feels like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks sometimes, and they're like, "What are the crowds gonna get? What the crowds going? What's gonna get people hype?" And then like that's what they just go with. Um, so I enjoyed Shazam. I actually enjoyed Harley Quinn to
Harley
an extent
Quinn.
as
That was
well.
another one I wanted to bring up.
I
Harley
really
Quinn
I
movie was
enjoyed
really
like
good.
some of the scenes from there. I think were some of the better scenes I've seen of women
Mm-hmm.
portrayed as superhero films. Like
Yeah.
it did the women team up better than Avengers. And my like how I thought when they did the final battle scene in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. When they were like doing the swapping the ponytail holders to each other, I'm like, that's what real friends do. Like we'd be like, oh girl, you just put your hair up for a fight. Let's go, girl. Here you go. Like I was here for stuff like that, and the whole like the foolishness of the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich and how much like she was like just like hankering for that sucker. And like, I'm like, there's some things in that really had me going. And so I think that they captured some of that magic a little bit in Black Adam. Like there were things that like I felt similarly about in Black Adam as well.
Yeah. And I think why those movies like Shazam, why Harley Quinn, why Suicide Squad were standouts amongst, to me, the all of that DCU stuff is because it had more character, as opposed to it felt, a lot of the other movies felt broy to me. Like this is supposed to be the dark and brooding action figure, and it was just like, I don't feel substance, whereas I did feel it with that. Now that we're talking about Black Adam, I felt that again. And in fact, I felt more the substance. Okay. I felt like it was just pure action the whole time. It was like, it was a quick pace, but it wasn't like breakneck. It just felt like I was on a constant moving train where I was similar to you, Porshia, even though I knew what was going on and all this other stuff. Like, I was just like, oh, wow. Okay. We move into the next. Okay. This shit's about to happen. All right. You introducing this character. Like, it had, to me, a brisk pace that was becoming of the story or the plot, or to Ben's point, maybe lack of plot. But it was, and when we say like, it was just light on plot in terms of there was one, but it wasn't something, I don't know. It was just felt light. Maybe at the end of the day, because Black Adam's so strong. Well, I don't know.
No, it's one thing is that it's also an origin story. You know, it's like it's an origin story straight up and down. So it's not where you're gonna have, and it felt to me like, I'll say this, like if you've never seen a Marvel movie before, you would be like, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. You know, but because we've seen a lot of Marvel movies, you're gonna be like, this is a really good movie. You know, but you've seen a lot of the beats in this movie in other Marvel movies, and this one more so than even Shazam, because I felt like Harley Quinn is its own voice. I feel like what's the other one? Suicide Squad is obviously James Gunn's voice all over it. I felt like Shazam was leaning towards it, but this one really feels like, yo, you know what? them dudes over Marvel, they might know something, you know. That's how I felt like with this one, where they were like, yo, dog, you know what I mean? If we gonna jab from somebody, you might as well jab from the best. Because this one definitely has some big Marvel moments in it, but it also still, I think, attempts to retain some of the Snyder flair and some of the Snyder.
It has the DC Snyder signature on it.
Yeah,
not in heavy doses, but it's there.
Not in heavy doses, and also to me, not Snyder like people say it's just slow motion, but that's not really the trick that Snyder started with. It's always been the slow to, like fast motion. That's how he's always been, you know, so ill. Like especially 300, you watch that, it's like it's like very slow and then very fast and then very slow again. He does a lot of ill tricks with that, and this is more like extended slow-mo is a lot of the use in Black Adam. And sometimes I thought it was great. Sometimes I was crying laughing.
It was overdone. But just back to your original question of just overall. Overall, I had a blast with this movie. I thought it was good. Like even leaving it, I was like, you know, like I said, we had our notes. I thought it was good. I said, let me sleep on it. But when I woke up, I was still thinking about it, which is a good sign. And then I was thinking about the stuff that I really, truly enjoyed about this. The casting on fucking point. Generally speaking, there was some stuff I was like, hold up, that don't look right. Generally speaking, the effects were great. And again, like this also felt more like just a movie. Like I wasn't really caring how some of the characters got from point A to point B. I was just invested in the characters because they were well acted, right? There were some funny ass, weird ass dialogue that I was like, that don't sound right, but I just let that shit go because I was having a good time. And that's what overall I feel about Black Adam. I had a good ass fucking time.
Yeah, speaking on the casting, I think that one of the lead characters being a teenage boy who's like a skateboarder, like they casted he could actually skateboard. Like he looked like he actually knew what he was doing for the most part. He was not my favorite character. But
he annoyed the hell out of me. To be quite honest with you.
But I at the same time, I see what Marvel's doing, and I see how other this franchise is doing it as well, where they're trying to make sure they're getting multi-generational audiences, and they're kicking in and getting people who are gonna come back to the story at different age points. So I get it, and he was not the most annoying teenage character I've seen in recent things. No. Like he was, I did not mind him. So I like his casting. I loved and this might be spoilerish, casting of Adam Smasher's uncle. Whenever he had him on the phone, and the whole theater was like, ah! And I was
everyone flipped out. Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is so cute. I love this, and like the size difference makes no it makes no sense for their sharing a uniform. So I'm like, this man is a giant. This man is not. I do not know how they're trying to make that sound like that.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the casting of that, and generally I liked a lot. And as you're talking about like the filming techniques and sequences, I noticed some of the they had a little bit of a nod to 300 with a push off of they had those kind of things, and I was like,
I'm glad you caught that. I did too.
I kept seeing them do little nods to different. So they did that nod to Snyder, and then they also did some stuff that was also kind of a nod to Marvel in some instances. I can't remember what it was that I noticed.
Big nods to Marvel,
including
the characters.
But as I was asking, I'm not a big DC person, and my partner is. I asked him about. I'm like, so these characters sound a lot like these characters. Which one was first?
They act a lot like those characters too, right? Well, that's the
as far as the MCU, that's a different story. If they sound like someone in the MCU, then that's because they're imitating the MCU. If they sound like someone you read in the comics, which they really don't, they sound like people from the MCU. So they're clearly, because the MCU characters are not the same, beat by beat or voice, especially. Tony Stark being that complete smartass comes from Robert Downey Jr.
Right. But even because maybe you're not aware of this, even in the context, if you're just talking about DC Comics versus Marvel Comics, there's been a long history of that petty tit for tat type stuff when it comes to some of those characters.
That's why I asked him which one was first so I can be aware. I'm not saying oh, this one copied after this one.
Sometimes be at the same damn time.
Right. Sometimes it's literally the same, essentially the same time.
Days within each other.
And because as Benhameen's mentioning, now you have the MCU, which is the live action version, which flips a lot of these original stories anyway. Then you have DC, who's kind of doing the same thing with their comic book stories. And now you're getting to this chicken, what came first kind of question. But because MCU is the most prevalent, just in terms of the amount of completed storylines, and other characters they brought in, like, people will make that really easy comparison, right? Like, you're gonna see Dr. Fate in this movie and think, oh, that's Doctor Strange. You're gonna see Adam Smasher in this movie and you're gonna think, oh, that's Ant-Man. Like, he's going to make
and Peter Parker.
And Peter Parker. Yeah, he's like 3 people thrown into one. You're gonna look at Black Adam and think, oh, that's the Kool-Aid Man mixed with Drax, mixed with The Rock. It's all of these things, right? But it still made sense in the context
mixed with Hennessy, boy. No, he ain't. That ain't even Sarai, boy. He was definitely on that hen. Because the way he was fucking people up, he was way going off that hen.
No, he said, Casamigos me, please.
No, that might even that Everclear. That's that, we like the way he was rolling through them cats. Yeah, Mad Dog 2020, baby. That man was like, he don't remember shit after that one. He like, yo, I did what? That's how he was going through the cats.
Overall, what did you think of this film, Ben?
Me? Oh, man. Overall, I thought, like just like you said, when I left the theater, I was like, okay. And, I liked parts of it. I liked it in general. Overall, when I was watching the film, I was definitely entertained. I thought the action was great. I think Black Adam's, and this, I won't spoil anything about it, but the first time you see him go ham is like a great use of all of his superpowers. Yeah. And he is such a powerful character. To see all of his abilities being used at once is super ill on film, because it's like Superman, the Flash, Storm, all combined. Plus, it was really just Superman and the Flash are the real problem right there. But then the lightning just doesn't help things. So seeing that scene when he went ham was like, I did not expect.
When you first seen him,
I was hoping for something like this in this movie, but I still didn't expect it to be like that. And that was crazy. And so overall, I really enjoyed it. And then just like you, when I went home and when I woke up this morning, I was like, yo, I really, really enjoyed that shit. Like, one thing, like, I want to talk about Hawkman, because Hawkman, Aldous Hodge played the hell out of him, first of all.
Did he?
Aldous was there too. He was looking
Aldous definitely, is a handsome black man. I love seeing him on screen. I tweeted it. He has lead role written all over him. Absolutely. Like, he has that charisma, all that shit.
He should have been Captain America.
They should have kept, underground.
But on that note though, like Hawkman, for those who read comics, is one of the most convoluted origins. Like DC, I don't think know to this day who he exactly is, because they've tried so many different ways to fix it. It just never works out, because other people want to do this, people want to do that. Sometimes an alien, sometimes he's human. And so in this, they really just introduce him like, well, he's like our Black Panther. Yes. And we're going to keep it moving, and...
But, like, also he's just, like, super... For me, I was like, this is a super wealthy black man? Okay, I've not seen one of those.
Haven't seen one of those. And I don't remember Hawkman being super wealthy all the time. Like, all these DC characters go from rich to poor all the time. So, that was dope, though. I like, the Black Panther, X-Men, Hawkman version we got in this film. And then I really just loved how, once again, if you know his character, like, this nigga cannot take Black Adam.
He got no be able chance. To take him. Like, he ain't got it like that. But
you just know.
It could be the cartoon version, which kind of, and again, it's convoluted.
It don't matter. That hammer, it don't matter.
But let me explain.
He getting hammered.
In terms of who he is, like I said, one story says he just got possessed by this Egyptian god and all this other stuff. But if you're using that, then he has like at least demigod level powers, and he's essentially immortal, or just ages very, very slow, which is where they're gonna probably try to explain how he could take and eat some hits from Black Adam.
Well, if he's Thanagarian, he could take some hits too. Why he was
potentially so rich. Not to say that you can't be rich as a black man and maybe go into industry, but maybe he was so rich because he's been around for hundreds of years or whatever. So, they're gonna touch upon. Like I said, I know from the cartoons, Hawkman got reasons that they could potentially grab from.
Yeah, and also, but he could also be an alien and be rich because of that. Because his original origin is that he's a Thanagarian alien, and the nth metal is from alien shit, and alien technology is why he gets all his weaponry, and that's why that shit transforms and everything else it does.
And alien tech could stand up to fucking Black Adam potentially.
And he's an alien. He's super strong himself. Hawkman ain't no punk. He just ain't Black Adam.
Yeah, right. Black Adam like said he was like, I love that Black Adam's whole thing was like he was recognizing technology as magic, and he was like, this magic is puny whenever it was just like weaponry. But he was like, for Hawkeye, there was really no answer for what Hawkeye had because it seemed like another kind of magic, quote unquote. So like even though Hawkeye couldn't take him, even though he kept standing up to him like he could take him, and we all knew he couldn't, he didn't really have an answer to like he didn't say like, oh, this is just like puny magic. He was like, no, like he didn't really like say anything about it because there was no real like answer to like
that man had his respect. He kept coming, you know.
He absolutely had his respect.
Man, like, he kept coming, boy.
I love Al for all the reasons you said. I love Aldous as Hawkman. I like that characterization as Hawkman. Like I said, he was not a lay down nigga. Like even when it was infuriating because he was acting like the fucking dummy. Like 12 half the time. I was like, relax, like. Not everybody gotta come to justice, nigga. Like, let it go. But
since when has prison been justice, sir? Like when has been locked up in justice?
Like he had that black and white mentality, like I said. But that's Aldous acting, right? That's the acting of that particular character and how rigid that character is. And hopefully we'll see him grow out of that because of his interactions with Black Adam. But it was also hilarious. Their banter. They're like the girls were fighting every time they seen each other. It was on site. It didn't matter what was going on. It was like, that's that nigga. Get him like every time. And it's like, can y'all just have a conversation? But it was entertaining.
It was very entertaining.
It was. I loved. Oh man, I didn't realize how much I was gonna love this. I love Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. Okay.
Oh, how would you not know that? Pierce Brosnan,
how did I know I wasn't gonna like?
He is Dr. problematic Fate in real life, so it's kind of like, but then you're like, I love it.
I don't know what he is like in real life. Yeah, but I say that
he's what in real life?
He's kind of problematic.
Oh damn!
I didn't realize that, but I'm saying that because I didn't realize I was gonna vibe with Dr. Fate like that. Not that I think Pierce Brosnan was gonna act well. Of course, he's Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. The character. I didn't know that I was going to connect that quick with Pierce's Dr. Fate. And then I was going to really fuck with the visualization of Dr. Fate. When I said before that there's some things they do very well when we talk about the special effects in this film, anytime you see Dr. Fate on screen, it's fucking beautiful. Like from the flowing cape to the gold, to the reflections in the gold. Like just the way he moved, it was fluid. And like I said, I use the analogy of Doctor Strange to him, but like he was the likable Doctor Strange. Like this is the man that you wanted in your corner that you really fuck with. Was like, hey, come down to dinner with me, right? Like he was formidable. He was formidable, and he was a friend at the end of the day. And that's what I'm saying. Like he was true, and he was still like quippy and sarcastic and shit like that, and it was fun.
Yeah, no, Dr. Fate is another one of my DC characters. Like once again, I've read too many comics. So I've read a lot of DC at the same time. Green Lantern's always been one of my favorites, Flash, etc. And Fate, his whole story and the fact that he's like controlled by the powers of Lord, Order, and Chaos and all that, and the fact that this helmet possesses him has always been one of my favorite characters. And then just his design is so sick. And they did it so well with the gold helmet and like the intricacy on his costume. The costuming was really great because Pierce Brosnan, like especially even when he didn't have the helmet on and he got the cape on and the suit, you would expect him to look like a clown.
Yeah, no,
but this man looked regal.
He had that helmet on the side. He was holding it on the side like a baby or whatever. Like he's holding it, and he was looking. I was like, "Yes, Chief, I will follow you."
Pierce made that character. He just made it. He's smooth as fuck, but at the same time, relatable and likable, and like you want this guy on your team. Like you know he's gonna have your six no matter what. Like that's why I fucked with him.
To your note about likable Doctor Strange, I feel like he had the gravitas of being like an older gentleman of certain distinction or whatever that I don't like that Doctor Strange doesn't have at his current like age and like characterization. So maybe he could become a distinguished gentleman, but Pierce already is there. And so it just came off so much more like charismatic and like welcoming, like you want to be like cool with him. And I think that helped a lot since this was not like an origin story of like him or Hawkman, like showing why they had such a close relationship in a quick way in this movie without us having to like dig too hard on like how they got along or what their dynamic was. Like you could see it because you could see that they had a relationship built out from how they spoke to each other and their dynamic. And I really appreciated that for like the little bit of plot that was there that helped us get to the plot without it seeming like off in a way.
Yeah, no, that's something
natural.
like, it's not that it's not, that's when we say it's not plot, it's not that this film isn't well written, because it's very well written for what it needed to do. Like you said, in very short time, it made you care about Fate and Hawkman and know their lives and know that Fate has really been through some shit by the time we meet him. Like whether we ain't seen it, but you know it, and you don't need to show all that sometimes to, tell a story. And that's why I really liked. I really loved those two, like, and how they were developed.
They were amazing, and
I didn't love what's his name as much.
Oh, so Adam Smasher and Whirlwind. So let's talk about that. Adam Smasher. He was there. He was cool.
He was Peter Parker, like.
Have y'all watched For All the Boys I Loved Before?
Yes.
Okay. So I think what happened is they cast that guy as him to pick up on his status that he already has as a romantic lead. Mm-hmm. They were trying to use that to like bolster like his character, and that's what his whole thing. So whereas with Hawkman and Dr. Fate, they gave us enough characterization for us to pick up the cues of what they're supposed to be in this time of life. They instead on his character, they leaned on what the actor's bringing to the table with his reputation, rather than the character himself being too much of it. So his lines are going towards that whole romantic lead kind of thing, and that Peter Parker kind of like aw shucks kind of humor, rather than like actually building out a character development that like you can kind of like pick up really quickly. I think they leaned more on the actors kind of like morals and stuff than they did on like writing into the character, that stuff.
Well, that would make more. Maybe that's why I feel like this film made more sense. Like, look at niggas like Ezra Miller. I don't like his Flash. I never have liked his Flash.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter what you write for him. It just does not come off right.
And the funny thing about it is they've definitely made allusions to Adam Smasher and Black Adam's relationship in the comic books, which I will not spoil for people who have not read the comics and for people who have not seen the film yet. But if you have read the comics and know about Adam Smasher and Black Adam, they make allusions to their most famous moment. Most definitely do. And I was, at one point, I was like, yo, is this movie going to... I mean, the movie has already, murdered people left and right. So I was already like, is this movie going to do what I think it's about to do? But then I was like, this dude is too corny and too lovable for them to get that dark.
And sorry, I kept calling her Whirlwind. Her name is Cyclone. But Adam Smasher is played by Noah Centineo. Just to make sure we keep keeping the names for everybody.
And who is
so
Cyclone?
Quintessa Swindell is Cyclone. And like her character was cool too. Like, they showed her powers well, but like I said, the things about this movie that annoyed me or I was like, no thanks, was not big things. They're more nitpicky. Yeah. But it was annoying, right? So like anytime she was on screen using her powers, that's when the slow-mo turned on. Now, right? That looks great. It's always like, look at me, I'm ethereal and beautiful.
I will say they did it way better than they did it for Enchantress. Like, when they did Enchantress for that first Suicide Squad, that was like, what the F is going on? Okay, but it's a bar because it's DC set it. DC set the bar for themselves.
At the beginning of Suicide Squad, when Enchantress did that shit with her hand and it flipped over, that was one of the illest shots in cinema. And then I was so hyped, and then the movie immediately fell apart. I actually want to see that Ayer cut, because if there's more shit in it like that, maybe he did have a really good movie there. Because I remember sitting in the theater, and when she did that hand flip and turned over into the Enchantress, I was like, yo, this is insane. That's an ill ass shot. And then
Cyclone looked good. I mean, as an actor, the actress is beautiful. She looks great. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like I feel like you could tell most of the energy was on Hawkman and Dr. Fate. And like, and again, and I mean, even the way they were brought into the story, like it was like, all right, y'all are here to help hold down the fort, but y'all not the main thing, right? Like, Hawkman and Mr. Fader or Dr. Fader Main, and y'all are, the others.
Y'all here to hold down that fort of $1 billion is basically
right.
what
So
you're the millennial. We have Gen Z represented with a teenager. We have the millennials with y'all. And we're going to, then some of the millennials, the older millennials are with Aldous. And then we have Dr. Fate for the millennials in Gen X. Like you can see all the audiences. They were checking boxes off to make sure we watch this movie.
So yeah, like Cyclone and Adam Smasher, like they were cool, right? Like, could they have been interchangeable with any other two characters? Potentially, right? But I think the actors did a good job for what they had.
Yeah, their characters are interchangeable with any two characters in the JSA in the comics. They're not that,
Right.
Like I said, as far as I know, Adam Smasher's biggest moment is edited, but
we're gonna leave that alone.
It ain't a classic, it's a classic, but it ain't a classic for him.
Right. There was who else was in it? Who else mattered?
Mo Amir, shout out to the brother Mo Amir, Houston, Texas, baby. Mo Amir, a great comedian. I want to shout him out. He's a fantastic comedian. He has 2 specials on Netflix. He's from Houston, Texas. And I thought he did a fantastic job in this joint as well.
He was a great comedic foil throughout the film. Like you said, the kid, like I said, when I said the kid annoying, like, no, he wasn't the most annoying kid, but it annoyed me because it felt, Benhameen, you said it for me, and the theater, he felt like a very 90s character that just got written into something in 2022.
Like,
so
a mate was that, an Amazing Spider-Man dude rode a motorcycle. Not a motorcycle, a skateboard. He was skateboarding in Amazing. Peter Parker was skateboarding in Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah. The skateboard trope has been around.
We also have Sarah Shahi, Sarah Shahi, who was in it as well. She basically played Lara Croft Tomb Raider in this. And
again, if you know the comics, both her and Stater Boy play very big roles in Black Adam's future. So they will be around and will also be very prominent in any sequels that come up.
Right. And I'm purposely not mentioning some more people that show up, but the 2 last, I just want to, again, Viola Davis, everybody knows Amanda Waller. She's back. She's in the previews and she's in all the commercials anyway. So she's definitely in the movie. Viola's doing her best Amanda Waller, as she's been doing. People been saying that for years. She should be Amanda. She's doing the damn thing again. But of course, you got to talk about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his portrayal, his 10 to 15 year odyssey to get Black Adam on screen. And for me, as I had some time to sleep on it, I felt like this movie can serve as a reset for the DCEU and where it should be going forward. Both literal and figurative, because the movie at some places was heavy-handed about telling you this ain't your mama's DCEU. Like, we tearing it up, literally. Like, we tearing all this shit up, and this is stronger than what you've seen, and you ain't ready for this shit. Like, we get it to the extreme.
This shit been going on like 50 years. Like, this shit just started, and they already tearing it up.
Acting. That's how, to me, like the very on the nose things that they were doing, like, lightning through the Superman posters, lightning through the Batman posters.
Easy,
like,
I'll give all that. That's a little much.
Edit it out then.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, they just were like, they wanted to make it very clear that we are gonna take everything in a different direction. Like, this is the guy you need to be thinking about. Black Adam's the guy you need to be worried about. So,
he is though. But no, that's been the goal, and like this definitely lives up to what Dwayne has been saying, that the power in the DCU will change when this comes out. The interesting thing about, all right, we were talking about Black Adam. We all agree Dwayne did, he did his Dwayne thing with this. Like, The Rock does his thing. Usually he's charismatic as fuck. When he has a good role, I won't say that he's like suddenly become Teth Adam that I know from the comics. That dude's a whole different person. This is The Rock as Black Adam, but it's solid. Like, I think he does a very solid job, a very entertaining job. And not only that, I can't wait to see, even though I hate this, like, I think this movie is good on its own, but I would also like to see him interact with other characters in the DCU. But the really interesting thing about this that I want to bring up right now is like the Flash, because you mentioned Ezra and how garbage of a person he seems to be, even though he seems to be trying to get it together and get some help, whatever. But like Issa Rae brings up, people protect scumbags all the time in Hollywood, and they get too many chances and they stay scumbags, and that's the problem with Hollywood. So what is interesting is the Flash is next on the menu, and they're still protecting it. Now he recently did reshoots, so I'm wondering did they reshoot and bring in Black Adam somehow, because it seems like this is the cow you know hits your star to right now.
This is the sacred cow of DCWB right now.
Yeah, so it's like when you have this movie that's already so problematic coming out, what do? Like if I was them, I'd scrap that shit unless it got Black Adam. They should have
scrapped it. I don't know if you were watching all the word on the street happened. Yeah. They had literally 2 or 3 choices, and they said so verbatim what their choices were: scrap it, or give him a chance, and they literally said, "Oh, we're gonna just give him a chance." And then
they did reshoots with him. So
y'all scrapped everything else for no reason.
I'm thinking these reshoots have to connect it to the Black Adam.
They scrapped Batgirl.
They scrapped everything else for essentially no reason, for a tax return, and then they decided, regardless of all the problematics and the stuff that kept on happening as this news article was forming,
they are still harboring a minor. They're still harboring a minor. Like Ezra is still harboring a minor. They don't know where the minor is.
I mean,
I don't know, bro. I don't know,
right, man.
But Black Adam though. But Black Adam though, it was a great ride. I was pleasantly surprised by this entry, and I think it's a solid film. I think anyone, to Portia's point, anyone who goes to watch it, no matter where you fall on the spectrum, you're gonna have a great time. You can go in there and have absolutely nothing, and you're not gonna know nothing for all of these characters anyway. So you're just coming in fresh, which is why I feel like it's also a reset. Like it could be the beginning point for the new group of fans, and also the beginning point of a new direction of stories to help make shit connect in this universe.
Damn, could we have had Carter Hall on this shirt? Is he ours now? Like, is he ours like Nick Fury? Hawkman, Carter Hall.
Oh, his real name.
Yeah, is he ours like Nick Fury? Because like, Nick Fury is ours now. Like, they made him black in the comics too.
I can't see them going back from this. Like, I
can't either. I can definitely see them blackening up Hawkman in the comics.
No, they're gonna
he's not
keep him
that
black.
popular enough.
They're gonna keep him as black at this point. Yeah,
I think that would be the smart move for them. I also think that.
Yep.
Overall, I think this movie. I was not sure. Like, I knew that it was going to be seen. I just didn't know when I was going to see it. And I'm glad that I did get to watch it early, because I feel like that actually changed my perception of like how much I want to watch DCEU movies that are like not like. I like the ones like, because I like Birds of Prey. I'm like, I would watch another one by that director. Mm-hmm. I may watch Shazam again because I enjoyed Shazam. But the other ones are kind of like, it's not like Marvel where I'm like, okay, I got to see every single one of them so I can at least know what's going on. For DCEU, I'm like, I can pick and choose. I can skip and pick around.
And you literally can, because the stories don't connect.
I think that's their intention now, though. I think they're going to stay on that path.
And I think that's smart of them. I think that, like, them not, like, I would rather them hone their own course than try to copy what another brand is doing well. Because at this point, you're not going to catch up to them. So then do something different. Like, what's the point in trying to do the similar thing? It's not worth it.
I think their point now is just going to connect when they want it to connect, or when they need it to connect, and when they don't, they don't. And I'm fine with that, because it's proven like Marvel's already doing that one long story. And I already have one brand where I have to watch every goddamn thing. I don't need another one. And then I also, even like when I don't enjoy something like the Joker, or even like Batman versus Superman, I do enjoy the fact that they let these directors do their own thing on it, where they are wildly, the Joker is a wildly different film than Batman versus Superman. And if you haven't seen it yet, Porshia, I would definitely recommend the new Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, because Peacemaker is a really solid first season. Mm-hmm. Everything they've been doing on TV. I mean, Harley Quinn, the Harley Quinn animated series is one of the best things ever made. Like, just, DC, Marvel, whatever. It's just one of the best series I've ever seen in any medium. That shit is phenomenal. So they still have it. DC, it's like, you got to look harder than Marvel. But I think they're both doing, good stuff right now. And like, I think Black Adam is a definitely solid entry. I just wish right now that the next thing up, I was like, oh, I can't wait for that. Because the next thing up, I'm like,
I wish there was something that was up that I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm not fucking trying to see this
the Flash, nigga, and I love the Flash, and I don't want to see this movie.
It's actually, that's a good point, Ben, because it's like a letdown. Because like I'm hyped I'm energized, I'm reinvigorated about DCWB at this point, and
there's nothing they can do, man. That's such a rock and a hard place.
And if they had I feel like they're gonna waste. They're wasting energy right now.
They're wasting goodwill.
This is wasting a lot of goodwill because it's just like, yo, what's up next, my nigga? That nigga's movie, really?
Yeah, and Batgirl could have come out, and they were gonna connect Batgirl to the bigger DCEU. So
I would have loved watching Batgirl.
Even if it wasn't, and people was like, oh, they said it wasn't that good. That was not true.
Yeah,
like,
even if
it was ambiguous what people felt about it. But it's like you could have used that goodwill and that energy into the next.
Yeah,
they wanted
to
save the person they already tried to build a platform behind. They were like, we'd rather try to save a person we built a dumb platform behind than start with a new, fresh crew of people, which doesn't make any sense.
But it's also because they spent so much money on the Flash, and it's so allegedly important to their future.
Allegedly, because of Flashpoint and all this other shit. But I'm just like, there's a million ways y'all could do this shit. Y'all don't need
don't need the Flashpoint. Y'all don't.
You
especially now after Black Adam. You good.
There's enough multiversal type stories in DC where you do not need Flashpoint.
Shit, you could just build off of Black Adam. Because Black Adam establishes that these other heroes are out there. People know about them, Flash, Superman, and all that. But you don't see them really in this film. So you don't need to do it. You could just do that like with another hero. They got Blue Beetle coming out. That's one I am hyped about. Because they do it. But hopefully Blue Beetle comes out. Because, who knows. But Blue Beetle is coming out. And it's the story of the Mexican version of the young Blue Beetle. Plus, they got the old legacy Blue Beetle character in it. And they got my man from Cobra Kai, who I actually like as an actor playing him. So, Blue Beetle, I'm really hype about.
Yeah.
But that's like, I don't know when or where. I ain't, so we'll see. But right now, Black Adam. I definitely say, well worth your money. Like, it feels like a summer movie in October.
It does feel like a summer movie. It's a popcorn movie.
Yeah, if you want to see a summer movie right now and you're like, lacking in that feeling, this shit is there for you, fam.
It's exciting.
It's exciting,
energetic,
and it's violent.
The action scenes are action scenes like that. Yes. Like it will get you. You'll be like when that opening scene when you see all his powers, but also like the
Hawkman and
the takedown scenes and like like all of those, like whenever they're like knocking out all the mercenaries, like the whole mercenary things, like, and there's multiple ones of those, so you just like. Yes. There's like, multiple how do you want to see murder today? Like, which flavor of murder would you like?
We're doing murders. What flavor would you like?
And that's like, I was talking about this on Castle Black. Shout out to our House of Dragon show where I was talking about Stranger Things where Vecna, whatever his name is, he murders people all the same way in the latest season. And it's just like, nah. Black Adam does not have that problem. My man gives
very creative.
Hella variety in the way he serves up food.
Very creative.
Very creative.
It's the big variety pack out of Sam's Club of chips.
It's a cornucopia.
How can I hurt you? So it's fantastic, and like everything is a win, and it looks, generally speaking, it looks good.
Really good.
The costumes look fantastic. Generally, everything. I didn't really care about Cyclone's costume, but I understand that
it's accurate to the comic.
I know.
Super.
I don't.
The hair did not make any sense to me. I was like, that irritated me. It took me out. I was like,
hair, black
it was too much.
And
this is the black girl thing. This is too much
Sorry,
go-go curl bounce in there. She had too many tracks.
I'm like, no, that's not how. I was just like, that's not how braids work. You can't just have your braids go from being installed to being.
No, it's too much goddamn hair, okay? But point is, everyone generally
said no man ever
looked
depending on where that man is at that point in time.
And obviously
never said by this man.
I understand. But obviously being the centerpiece of it all, The Rock look fucking incredible. He's already a fucking action figure for 100 years. He looks like he's been an action figure for 100 years. The suit looks phenomenal. The fucking etchings in the suit, like the detailing, I think that's why it looks so good because they got the detailing done very well.
There was one slick moment that they did, and in fact, it's like the inspiration for why he has this lightning bolt. Like it is so slick and so quietly done that I don't want to spoil it.
It's wonderful,
but it was like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that comes from the comics or not, but that was Oof.
Yeah. And the things that we're not saying are the things that why we're not saying it is because those are the things that probably matter the most, right?
Yeah.
The intricate or the subtle details, the subtle and intricate details of why characters are doing certain things or why relationships are the way they are, or things like that. Like the smaller things that aren't the big pomp and circumstance are the ones that give this movie so much heart, at least in my view.
Yeah.
I'll just say one thing I did dislike about it was the Tomb Raider of it all. It felt very like, again, if you take me out, it'll take me out and make my enjoyment go down a little bit. And so like, I'm like, you walk into a cave and it's magically clear of any debris. Like you can just wander in there, and like it's supposed to have been abandoned for like thousands of years, and like, man. And it just like took me out, and that was something that I was like, I don't know why did they really need to set it up like this? Like, could there not have been a different way? Because that was just,
they had to make it easy, because you know how we always be like, well, we always have like, there was a simple solution for this. Why didn't you do it? It was like, I realized that there was nothing like that. Like there was, like you said, there was no hindrances where there could have been a hindrance, right? It was like, they didn't care. It was like, let's just get to the point, right?
Yeah.
So it was very Tomb Raider. It was very The Mummy. It was very Terminator. It was a lot of shit going on in there.
But the thing is, like, there's even a bigger one. Once again, I don't want to spoil, but there's a moment later on in the film where, for people who if you watch pitch meetings, there's a famous line they say on there where it's like, so the movie could happen. Because there is a lot of that in this movie. Like I say, while some of the writing is good, some of the writing is what I call efficient, right? It's like, we needed to get to this point.
Right.
So how do we get it to that point?
So we don't need a blocked hallway.
These characters, no, not even that. Like, the characters might not do what's the smartest thing in this moment, just so we can get to this point. And they did that at one big point where it's like, what the fuck? But I get it. They wanted to have this moment, and so they needed this character to do something, and they do that to get to this moment. But besides those type of things, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It seems like we all thoroughly enjoyed it. Let's pretty much wrap this up.
Yeah, there was only one thing I wanted to mention about the music. The music choices felt bro-y to me again.
Hella
on the nose
bro-y
stuff. Like, that's the song.
It's Black Adam.
But it also felt like Dwayne was in the room with them. Yes. And was like, take this off my playlist and play that, because again, it's his project.
He
definitely picked the. I felt like
it was outdated. It was like whenever Shrek put like All Star, like they said they put All Star in there because it just fit at the time, and then the movie came out like way later than that song, All-Star, and they just kept it in, and it worked. And I think they were trying to hope that like keeping these old songs in would just magically work, and I'm like, nah,
and it didn't work. Like, besides being outdated, I just felt like for the placement in whatever scene it was in, I was like, that doesn't to me work for that scene. Like, it could have been a better choice there, but.
There was a couple that hit, but for the most part, I agree.
Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. But there were little nitpicky things in there, but nothing that derailed our enjoyment of Black Adam. I'm giving it a thumbs up. I'm giving it a recommendation to go see it.
Hell yeah, me too. And like I say,
Porshia.
I'm there for Hawkman getting his ass beat. Like, it was so good. Oh my god!
And you're saying that because it's not that like you hate the man and you need to see him getting his butt.
No,
it's just the rivalry that he sets up between him and Black Adam. You know you can be annihilated. I don't know why you keep standing up to this man like this, but okay, just keep doing it.
It's very determined.
Yes, so I also enjoyed it. I would also recommend it. So even as someone who does not know as much about DC Universe, this was something that I was thinking about skipping it, and now I'm like, I'm so glad I did not. I'm glad I got to see it. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's as always, this has been a very special edition of the For All Nerds Show, starring your boy DJ Benhameen, my co-host Tatiana King, and my other co-host Porshia. You can find all of us on the Twitters at DJ Benhameen, at Tatiana King, and at Porshia, as you see on the screen right there. Read it. Porsheuh. And of course, make sure you hit that follow on at For All Nerds. If you are watching this and you are a fan of any one of our numerous shows, such as Views from the 616 or the Castle Black Pod, For All Nerds is the umbrella that creates all of this magic right here, as you see and as you will soon see. On my chest is one of our very special edition. Let me get that microphone out the way. Make sure y'all still hear me though. But microphone out the way of this new For All Nerds Butters right here, featuring all kind of DC and Marvel characters, blacker than black, as we call it. That's coming soon. A lot of other stuff coming soon from us. Make sure you follow us on youtube.com/forallnerdstv so you can see all of our footage and all of our coverage from New York Comic Con, NYCC. All of us right here that you see on screen was in the house doing all kind of things. Anything else I'm missing? Oh yeah, patreon.com/forallnerds where you can support the mission. We just dropped a special Patreon exclusive episode over there today after we dropped 5, I think, podcasts on your head last week. We dropping about 3 podcasts on your head this week. It's a lot going on. Thank y'all for all the support. Thank you for all the new listeners, all the old listeners, everybody out there. Let us know what y'all think of Black Adam when you do see it in the comments, and we out of here. Fan Bros, F-A-N-B-R-O-S.